Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to move in this sideways structure that can take a while to get completed, as we've seen here, really. But I mean, if this really is a wave 4, it shouldn't take too much longer. The situation was that in this wave 2 here, we talked about this microstructure a lot now, so I focus on the details now, because there is not much more to talk about. But this wave 2 was a so-called sharp correction. Can you see that? This was a so-called sharp correction in which the it's a so-called zigzag structure. So in this scenario, you have a so-called 5-3-5 pattern. The C wave seems to have been an impulse. So it's a so-called sharp correction that often happens in a wave 2. When that happens, then you get a so-called sideways correction in a wave 4. I'll take that out again. That doesn't matter so much because the fib levels normally don't change, but it just means that if the wave 2 is sharp, which it usually is, the wave 4 is usually quite boring, okay? And can be quite misleading because these so-called sideways corrections, they can easily change their shape. They can change their size easily, they can extend. For example, what makes them so difficult is the fact that you can get overshooting B waves, for example, in these sideways corrections. You can get triangles, that's a sideways correction. And that is exactly what might be developing. I mean, I cannot rule out a triangle here on this chart, but it would take many more waves to determine. Or it's just a simple flat structure, Either way, we're still watching for another low as long as the 50% retracement level is not broken to the upside. That level is 26,450. So we want to talk about two wave counts here. And you just need to be aware that the overall base case here, the thesis, does not change at all. Both of these wave counts, one is very short-term bullish, one is short-term bearish. These two wave counts, they are all part of the same scenario, which means that we focus on lower against 26,450. Which means even if any of them works out, the focus would be on lower. Just want to show you two different ways how this can unfold here in this corrective structure. You just need to be aware that the chart needs to be reinterpreted if the price goes above 26,450. So there are two ways. First of all, this yellow wave count can of course still extend. So the wave 4 can easily still extend. An ideal target would be still, as highlighted yesterday, 26,180. It is the 38.2 retracement. It's just an ideal fib level, ideal target for a wave 4. Normally I like to see the price get to that level because it gives confidence that the wave 4 is over. When you then see a reaction. We haven't had that reaction, even though it just missed it by like $30-40, it still often leaves that sort of, bad taste, you could say. And typically, many cases, the prices still get there afterwards to get that level. Now, of course, never a guarantee. I mean, this has retraced enough to be a healthy wave 4 already here with this high on the 3rd of September. So it doesn't need to go any higher. But I think it would be ideal to just get to that level, maybe just quickly and then come down, And that could happen in a WXY structure. And then in the Y wave, we might have here an A wave. This might be still an unfolding B wave and then a C wave higher. This is absolutely possible because in a WXY, we have 3 waves in each sub-wave. And the wave W was a 3-wave move. The wave X, you can count it as 5 waves, but not impulsive, so it's okay to count it as an X wave. If it's not an impulse, you can easily interpret anything as a correction as well. So that's why impulses are so important, because we can distinguish them so easily from corrective structures. And then here, ABC to the upside in the Y wave. Absolutely possible, okay? But this is one scenario. If we get a break below the 25,470 level, a sustained break, then it would reduce the likelihood of the yellow wave count here. Then I would have to assume that the wave 4 already topped. Now let me take the ABC out again. We don't need it. Yeah, the other wave count is here obviously that the white wave count, the white wave count already basically indicates that it is possible that this wave 4 already topped and that we came down in 5 waves, which would have been a leading diagonal. So this would most likely, based on what we see now, have been a 1-2 setup here, and then a third wave down, a fourth wave up, and a fifth wave down. So 5 waves down in this leading diagonal to the downside, and then this is how it would work out. Basically, this would be the wave 2, which might have topped, could go a little higher. If we talk about just this structure, then the likelihood of the white wave count will reduce above 26k. That's the 78.6 Fib level. Now, all of that probably doesn't help you much because this is really micro perspective, but I'm hoping to give a bit of education, and show you the different possibilities in these corrective structures. And just another warning that corrective structures, they change often, they morph often into different types of corrective structures. So therefore, as a trader, it can be useful just to zoom out a little bit and trade a different time frame. Not too much focus on those microstructures and try to trade every single wave. That's normally a recipe for failure because the microstructures in corrections have to be adjusted quite frequently. The reason we do it is so that we get a good view of the next targets and the relevant levels to watch, in this case to the downside, and to understand the invalidation point, which basically is the 50% Fib level, 26,450. If the price moves above that level, I would have to assume that, or at least consider that the price is moving in a high B wave towards around about $29,000. Yeah, this is my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. As a member, you get access to our weekly live stream every Sunday. It's always educational. Then you get access to our Telegram and Discord live chat groups. Also, as a gold member, you get additional market updates, something very valuable on days where there is a lot of volatility and a lot of things are changing. And you can also get access to all our educational content on Discord and Telegram. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X, how they call it now. And there's also additional content every single day. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.